Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So in the last few days, I've been seeing some articles that talk about people hoarding, and I wanted to address this. Now, these articles are coming out of the mainstream media. You know, your garden variety mainstream media channels or news stations that have been trying so hard over the last few years to keep us divided as a nation are now writing articles about people hoarding things. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about this because I want those of you that do listen to the mainstream media to not listen to the mainstream media. And if you still do, to make sure that you do your research. I'm sure you would agree with me that most of the rhetoric that comes from the mainstream media is usually wrong. It can be actually proven to be wrong, or they are lying by omission, meaning that they tell you half-truths or part-truths and not the whole truth, which if they did would change the narrative of the story as a whole that they're trying to relay to you. Now, are there hoarders? Yes, hoarding is a condition. It is a condition where someone cannot stop collecting things because if they get rid of those things that they collect, it affects them emotionally. Is prepping hoarding? Absolutely not. There are times where people are trying to become prepared, where maybe they are hoarding. Some people would say no, it's a free market. You can get whatever you want when you want it, as long as you're paying for it and you're not stealing it. That's not hoarding. And some people may say, yes, it is hoarding. And what some people would say hoarding is, in a time such as this that we are going through right now, or are starting to go through, is when you go to a store, it's crowded. Let's say, for example, there's 20 people waiting in line behind you to get some water, and you decide to get every case of water that's left and not leave any for those people behind you, even though you know that the situation requires people to have some water stored away. You're not caring that they're not going to get any, and you take the whole pallet for yourself. Maybe that would be hoarding. Some people would say yes, and some people would say no. I'm not on either side of it. I just want you to know that if someone tries to stigmatize you as a hoarder, just because you are prepping and you've been prepping, don't listen to them. Continue doing what you're doing. I went to the store again yesterday after work because I couldn't find any rice at Costco. When I went to the store, I went to the commissary. When I went to the commissary, it was fairly empty. I would say there was probably less than 10 customers in the entire commissary. There were probably more workers there than customers. They were pretty low on rice. They didn't have any long grain rice except for a few 5-pound bags. And they didn't have any cow roast rice in the large bags except for maybe like 10, 15-pound bags and maybe 10 or so 5-pound bags. And they had a few bags of jasmine rice. I picked up some of the cow roast rice that I like. I didn't take it all, but I picked up a good amount. Why? Because I want it, and I feel that I will be needing it. In the future, I will be needing it. I'm not going to eat 15 pounds of rice in a week, maybe not even in 2 weeks. But I know that I will be needing it in the future. So I picked it up. Is that hoarding? If I go into a supermarket or the commissary where the mood is calm, where there's almost no customers, and I buy half of the stock that they have of rice, I don't consider that hoarding. Why? Because everyone is at the same advantage than you are right there. You're not pushing people over. People aren't pushing you over. And you should be prepared enough at this point to where you don't have to go into a situation where people are pushing each other over for a bag of rice or a package of toilet paper or even a case of water. So I want to go ahead and tell all of you whose family members and or friends consider them hoarders or consider you hoarders because you're trying to do the right thing and taking care of yourselves and your families in case a crisis evolves. I want to tell you to stay the course. Don't listen to those people. Unfortunately, those people will be the ones that will come to you for help. in the future. Think about this. If the mainstream media as a whole, I know that there's some channels that are halfway decent and some that are really, really bad and some that are somewhat in the middle, okay? I'm not saying every mainstream media channel as a whole, okay? But if the mainstream as a whole would promote preparedness, they wouldn't have to write a story about people hoarding, because that preparedness mentality would have evolved in the citizenry of this country, and people, for the most part, would be somewhat prepared. It is because of the rhetoric that is put behind preppers as hoarders, as doomsdayers by the mainstream media, that most people decide not to prepare and not to have a deep larder or a deep pantry, because people are afraid for some reason what someone else may think of them, which I think is ridiculous. So this is a short video today, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to put this out there. Any of you that have not started getting some supplies for the near future, let this be another warning that you need to go out there and get yourself some supplies to last you an extended amount of time. How long? Well, let me tell you how long. Yesterday, I had a conversation with someone, and they came up to me and they said, I think it's about time that I go out there and start getting, a few extra supplies and things like that. And I asked him, I was like, what do you mean, like food and stuff like that? He's like, yeah. And I said, yeah, just go ahead and, get yourself 1, 2, maybe 3 months worth of supplies. Should be all right. And the reason I said that in that manner is because I was at work. And I didn't want to, sound like an alarmist, but I was wrong. I've decided that today when I go to work, that I'm going to go up to that person and I'm going to say, I was wrong in what I told you yesterday. You need to get food for at least 6 months to a year. So you need to go out there and purchase what you would need for the next 6 months to a year. That's where I think things are going, ladies and gentlemen. And like I've said several times, I pray to the Lord that I'm wrong. I pray that a year from now, people will be watching this video and laughing at it because they just think I'm crazy, calling me Chicken Little or an alarmist or a fearmonger and all that kind of stuff, right? I pray that I am wrong. I really do. But I'm going to go up to that person. I'm going to do the right thing and tell them I was wrong. You need to prep for at least 6 months to a year, if not more, if you're able to. Now, listening to these mainstream media people or reading their articles about people being hoarders and doomsdayers and things like that, and then associating that with prepping, that is what has caused what's going on in the stores. Stores being cleared out of this or that. That's what has caused that. Because they have stigmatized the word prepping or preparedness. They have attached negative things to that word. And now that people need these things, they're not necessarily going to the stores and hoarding. Sure, there have been a few examples that could be called hoarding, but they're just getting the things that they require for a week or two. I mean, if you look at some of those videos of the people in the stores and the supermarkets and the big box stores and things like that, if you see some of those videos and you see some of the people's carts, they're not buying excessive amounts of things. What, 2 packs of toilet paper is a lot? 2 or 3 24 packs of water, that's a lot? That's really not a lot. They're not buying a lot. The thing is that everyone is buying. Everyone has decided to go out there and buy at the same time. Would we have been taught and or conditioned? Because that is what happens with us, ladies and gentlemen. We are taught things and we are conditioned through media on what is acceptable or appropriate or not, whether we want to believe it or not. Had we been taught or conditioned that we should always have a 1 month or 2 month or 6 month pantry in our home, this would not be happening. But guess what? The media somewhat created this condition of people not wanting to be prepared for long term because of what's associated with it. Oh, you're a prepper. So they benefit by putting out stories that don't benefit you. And now they benefit by putting out stories like these people are hoarding that don't benefit you either. They are not in it for you, ladies and gentlemen. They are not in it for humanity. They are in it for the big almighty dollar. That's what they're in it for. That's why I always say, if you listen to or read mainstream media, make sure that you verify, validate what they're saying, and or read between the lines. Because more likely than not, they are not telling you the truth or the whole truth as it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I babbled on too long right now, okay? So I want you guys to have a great day today. It's a chilly negative 22 degrees coming out of my house today. And I'm hoping that spring will be in the air soon. Having said that, I hope you have a great day. Today is hump day, and a great rest of your week. We will talk to you later on this week. I do have another payday prep, believe it or not, and it will be coming up, probably the next video. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I am out.